What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, The Only Reviews, with two different views. And in this episode, we're talking about the self-titled debut album by Blue Heeler. And we're asking the question, will Blue Heeler's synth rock debut heal your blues? Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
Blue Heeler is an Austin, Texas-based trio, primarily playing upright bass, synth, drums, and of course vocals. And it's their debut album. So let's talk about what it sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, I think Blue Heeler sounds like Glass Animals and Snow Patrol take a trip to Bahamas.
I can hear all those things. Good comparisons. I think it sounds like Phil Collins, Peter Frampton, and My Morning Jacket, Adopt a Dog and Teach It New Tricks.
Adopt a doctor dog?
No, just adopt a dog, a Blue Heeler. Let's talk about some highlights from the album. What do you got, Derek?
Kevin, my biggest highlight was really the overall sound. The strong synth work here really piqued my interest, and the way they put it together, good pop sensibilities, really makes this for solid ear candy, I thought.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Synth definitely jumps out. Upright bass also jumps out, but it sounds totally different than you or most people or I have even heard an upright bass sound before. There's a lot of more electronic vibes going on. Definitely the synth and the upright bass, and of course the drums too, create this overall sound that's really a unique mix of sort of organic and synthetic. And it's just a really, really fresh vibe coming from these guys.
It is really more impressive to know kind of where these sounds are coming from an instrumentation standpoint. Again, that only builds the intrigue for me to seeing these guys play live. I can't wait to kind of see how they deliver these sounds through their lineup.
My other main highlight here is that it's just a really fun, feel-good record. Not overly so. A really strong sound, and it doesn't try too hard with a big concept. They just put out really solid tracks with really upbeat vibes.
Even the ones where they were a little slower, maybe a little darker in tone, I thought those ones were still just as catchy, if not catchier than some of the brighter upbeat ones. This is a really strong album to just get lost in and enjoy the vibe.
Any highlight tracks?
Yeah, I've got a few tracks that stood out to me. Luminescent Eyes, it's picked up by some synths, really grooving bass riff. And the bridge was really catchy to me as it alternated between softer electric stand-up bass, I guess, and synth blast while the vocals continued. So it just kind of created this halting type vibe, but it fit in very well with the song. It really just kind of seemed to encapsulate a lot of the themes that were presented earlier. Crystal Chandeliers. This one featured syncopated chords, moody synths, snapping drums, and some call and response between lead and backing vocalists during the chorus. The lyrics kind of describe this love story, where the main character is telling a love interest that things would be great if they were together, so much so that there would be crystal chandeliers, I guess, which is always a nice image in itself.
Track-wise, I really enjoyed 30,000 Feet. Had this really sort of dirty bass line and woozy synths and snappy percussion. A very catchy beat and infectious groove with these trippy lyrics about getting lost in your own head. And then track number 12, Know Better, has these ringing synths juxtaposed against sludgy bass and plodding drums and some wailing vocals. And I think is a good example of proving that, to your point, Derek, not only can they do upbeat and fun, but they can do darker and heavier and pull it off really, really well. Any lowlights for the album?
Kevin, just one little gripe. At some point, it seemed to me like nearly every chorus seemed to include layered or group vocals, which really seemed to be kind of a change of pace from the lead-only vocals during the verses. And after a while, the novelty of this sort of wore off for me to some extent, and it almost felt formulaic. Like when I could, when I heard the group vocals start, I was like, great, here we are at the chorus.
Fair point. I have a couple of lowlights, nothing major. I thought the lyrics weren't the most original, but obviously this band is much more about soundscapes, I think, than words. And then secondly, it felt a little long. I think they could have left a few tracks off, especially for a debut, and just really focused on fewer number of tracks. In particular, one that jumps out at me that I think could have left off would be Wonder of the World. Got a little too cheesy for me about these lyrics with a girl who's, so great she's a wonder of the world. Just felt like well-trodden territory. All right, well, that brings us to overall rating and answering the big question, will Blue Heeler's synth rock debut heal your blues? Derek, what do you say?
Kevin, I'm going to start with the big question. I think absolutely yes, this will heal your blues. This is a really catchy album. I was really further intrigued just to learn about the stand-up bass and really kind of seeing how that fits into the overall soundscapes that these guys create. So by extension, I'm really excited to see these guys play live. Just sounds incredibly entertaining. Really impressive debut. But they definitely have a very unique and strong sound, and I think that bodes well for them. And so that being said, I'm giving these guys a 3 out of 5.
Right on. To answer the question, will Blue Heeler's synth rock debut heal your blues? I think definitely. I think they've got a very upbeat and fresh and entrancing sound. In particular, very interesting sound, I think, as someone who lives in Austin, to come out of Austin. These guys don't really sound like anyone else that I can put my finger on here in the city, which is a really good and hard thing to do. This is probably my favorite new Austin band. I'm really excited about these guys, and I think, to your point, Derek, this is a really, really strong debut, and there's nothing but good things in store for these guys. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5, and with Derek's 3, that makes a combined 7 out of 10. So definitely check out Blue Heeler by Blue Heeler and let us know what you think about the album. And don't forget to subscribe either here on YouTube or our podcast. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.